Welcome to Bills Game Day Recap for Thad Brown. I am Alexa Ross. The Bills went back. You know what they did? Las Vegas. First time for the season. They went in there. They were the first team to hand Las Vegas a loss in their house. They are 4-0 for the first time since 2008. Thad, they did it, but it wasn't as pretty as it could have been to get there.
You know what? It didn't have to be pretty. This is a road game. This is a cross-country trip. Bills coming off a couple emotional wins. It wasn't pretty, but you know what? It wasn't bite your nails agonizing late either. The Bills pretty much had this when all was said and done. Let's start on the defensive side of the ball. Question stopping the run. Well, Josh Jacobs didn't even have 50 yards rushing today against the Bills. And I think more importantly, when that game was kind of in doubt, 17-16, it was the defense that really made the big plays late. Josh Norman, the fumble. Quentin Jefferson, the fumble. Ed Oliver, the fourth down stop. And this is a unit that's been a little bit maligned. Certainly, you know, maligned for Buffalo over the last week, too, maybe going back to the Miami game. So I think for the defense to step up and be the group that made the big plays late, big step. Offensively, Josh Allen didn't get to 300 yards. Other than that, same old, 30 points, multiple touchdowns, throwing the ball over the yard. The offense, Alexa, is very good.
The offense has been a really fun thing to watch this entire season, and it goes back to something I said while we were watching the game. Last season, it was the offense could do this and get better, the offense could do that and get better, and then it would be really, really good, right? But this time, it's the defense. In the first half, we watched this defense, we said, you know, they're not performing to the level that the offense was. Josh Allen, he might not have hit 300 yards, but it didn't look like that phased him. He didn't look any different. He didn't lose, no turnovers, none of that. The biggest thing, though, the fear of injury for Allen. Right before the end of the first half, Allen went down. He went down on his non-throwing shoulder. He went right into the locker room, got it checked out. When he spoke with the media after the game, he said, you know, I just did that to make sure. I wasn't afraid, though, because it wasn't my dominant arm. And Bills fans can rest easy. He is good. Here's what he had to say about it.
I just kind of landed on it a little funky, and you know, it's the left shoulder. It's not the right one, you know, thank God, but it'll be all right. It was my left shoulder, so it didn't bother me too bad, and I knew, you know, if it's the right shoulder, it's a different story. But knock on wood, it was the left shoulder, and yeah, I knew it wasn't collarbone right away, so it just kind of pain tolerance at that point.
You know, that's our general. It's not a surprise, you know, that he fought through that. You know, that he came back out and you know, helped us get that W, led us to that W. So of course, it was scary, you know, to kind of see him shaking up. But I'm glad he good.
It's no big deal. Got to play through the pain, and we'll get some treatment on it probably this week, but it shouldn't inhibit anything.
Josh the fighter. He's a tough dude. He proves that each and every week, and there was never a doubt in my mind. I think it would be more surprising if he did go out.
It's nothing we didn't expect. You know, he's a dog. He always has been since I've been here, so it's going to be hard to get him off that field.
I think this is about as good of a reaction as you could get from anybody who gets hurt during a game, especially when it's your starting quarterback who's having a breakout season, has these MVP talks that people are already insinuating. I don't know if we're going to go that far yet. I'm very proud of the work that he has put in this offseason, but it is really good to know that he is good, that he wasn't really so afraid when it happened. It just kind of goes to show that he is a resilient guy and was able to get back up and get back on his feet.
Never hurts when your quarterback's the kind of guy that can fight through injury. Worked for Jim Kelly for a lot of years. So on the defensive side of the ball, you know, we talked about the guys who stepped up and made plays. The one everybody else really wanted to talk about, maybe us in the media kind of prompted this, but it was Josh Norman playing in his first game with the Bills. Didn't even start, came off the bench when Levi Wallace got hurt early. Norman admitted he was rusty, and not only rusty, but surprised to be rusty. But he talked about how that fumble happened in the second half and how important it was to him and his teammates to make that big play.
I know he always liked to get extra yardage, so when I came in, you know, I just went for it with my left hand and just struck it, like struck it, and it popped. And I didn't, you know, I thought somebody was going to get it around me, but nobody was there, so I just crawled to it. And
the whole sideline just erupted, man. Everybody was crunk. You know, it was Jayno's first game back, you know, activated. So, you know, on top of him just making a great play, we was happy for him.
He showed why he's a true veteran, and he was ready today. He made some plays out there, and we needed it most when he got that fumble.
Step right in, great energy. You know, he's a leader. He's one of those guys, that lifts up the team with his words and his play too.
He's just a fighter, man, and he proves each and every day. We see it every day. We're happy to have him back.
Coach was actually, saying, somebody make a play, make a play. And I was like, I'll make a play. I had my old TO mindset in that thing. But those guys, they all, hungry and they ready to go out there and make something happen. And I'm glad we did that thing as a collective unit.
This Bills team, so together, they have their own vocabulary. Devin Singletary said the sideline was crunk. C-U-R-N-K, by the way. I know that's a legitimate slang term. I don't know exactly what it means. I'm assuming it means good. The other thing that Josh Norman said, which was hilarious, he talked about coming back to the defense as like being invited to a pizza party. But he said, I'm at the door, I'm knocking, but no one's answering. So I had to kick the door in. I don't know where to go with that. That's what he said. We're just reporting it to you.
And you know what, the thing with Josh Norman too, though, we talked about this cornerback battle from the beginning. Yep. Who was going to be the second starting cornerback? It was Levi Wallace by default because of injury, and it goes to show that injury might be the reason why this becomes Josh Norman's game. So when they're both healthy, we'll see what happens, but let's take a look at the stats from tonight. Josh Allen, with his first non-300-yard game of the season, still threw for 2 touchdowns, rushed for 1. He's fine. Speaking of rushing touchdowns, Devin Singletary with his first of the season, which is always fun to see, and Stephon Diggs with some big-time catches, 6 for 115 yards, including a 49-yard bomb by Allen. That is his longest throw of the season so far. Derek Carr passed for just over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. The big focus this week was stopping the run, and Josh Jacobs, no touchdowns for him today, 15 carries for 48 yards. So the defense did what they wanted to do with Jacobs, and they got it going in the second half. 6 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, one by none other than Josh Norman, our current CB2.
Now, Norman talked about what it's like to be on a field for the first time with no fans. He said, look, it's real weird, really strange that it's only you and the other team on the field. He said, you got to bring an extra packet of juice because you have to fire yourselves up on the sidelines. And the way this Bills defense was playing, they needed something to fire themselves up in the second half. They got it through Norman and others, and talked about how important it was to finally find a way on their own to make some plays to close out this game.
We all feed off each other. We're all out there trying to juice each other up, trying to make plays. Don't wait for the next guy to make a play. You make a play. It started with Josh, and then little DJ made a play, and then I was fortunate enough to make a play. And so we just got to keep doing that at all levels. Everybody take it upon themselves to try to bring that juice or make a play for the team.
We're a resilient, defensive group. We're never really getting down on ourselves. We always, move on to the next drive and go out there and try to make something happen. And, that's what Coach told us at halftime. Just continue to work, continue to pound away, go out there, play fast, and read your keys and try to make some plays.
Prideful is the word, too. Count on this defensive group not only to be maybe a little unhappy with the way they've played lately, but ornery about it. They talk about, the Bills talk about wins being the only thing that matters. The defensive guys subscribe to that. But after talking to them for years, I guarantee they were not happy with the way the last game and the first half of this game went.
And they definitely weren't, because listening to them all week this week, they were like, this is unacceptable, this needs to be cleaned up. And it wasn't just them, it was McDermott, it was everybody. But speaking of McDermott, we saw a really sincere side of him tonight as he closed out his press conference. He was asked about what it meant to have the Titans game coming up next weekend. As we know, 20 players and staff tested positive for COVID-19, the first real outbreak of COVID in the NFL. So he talked a little bit about what it was like earlier this week when the news broke, knowing that there was a game to play, and what it means coming up.
I thought it was a mental challenge for our team. We were being asked about it, kind of, the back third of our week last week, and the guys, they know who's next on the schedule, and to then come out here and focus like they did, I thought showed a lot. And then to your question, I'm concerned. I mean, when people are sick, we're concerned, whether it's a competitor or not. So we hope that everyone is doing okay on their end or improving. That said, I'm honestly, like you said, I'm just getting done this game, sitting in my locker with my luggage next to me here. So I'm sure I'll be, we've been monitoring it. Our operations people, Brandon and Beam as well, have been monitoring it. And I'm sure they'll brief me when I get on the plane as to where things are.
So we don't know what's going to happen next weekend. I've been saying all week, I don't think that the Bills play next weekend. I think that goes with quarantining, with more tests that could come out. There have been tests that have been accumulating every single day this week. So I'm not confident. Sean McDermott doesn't want to allude too much to that, but you can kind of tell he's not that confident with what's going on. The guys, on the other hand, they're just happy to be 4-0. They just want to play. They will be ready to play whether they hit the field or not. So, I mean, who knows? We might be here next week. We might not be here next week.
Oh,
we're
gonna be here, yeah.
We might not be on this show.
Or talking about a game.
We're talking about a game a week from today.
Yeah, Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde both said, look, we don't care about that at all. We're 4-0. We're going to go into practice next week, and whatever they tell us to do at the end of the week is basically what we're going to do. Big win for the Bills today in that they kept the momentum going. This was a spot. This is maybe a little bit of a trap game with the two teams that play in the AFC Championship coming up next, the Titans and the Chiefs. And also, like we pointed out, a lot more on the Bills' mind next week than just playing a football game. They're 4-0. The offense is just dialed in. There has not been any hiccup to it at all. Look, we've been saying this for a couple weeks now. Bills fans, get excited. This team is legit. They're going to be around for a long time. They're going to be contending deep into January. And there's no reason we can't talk about Super Bowl and this team in the same sentence right now.
I think you're so right about that. 4-0 for the first time since 2008. That's a lot to be proud of. That's really exciting. And with a team that's been so fun to watch. And I've just really enjoyed this. I think we're going to have a lot of fun coming forward. Next week, big question marks. Scheduled to travel to Tennessee next Sunday. But with those 20 cases, who knows? We'll be here, not maybe on this show.
But we will be on RochesterFirst.com where you're watching this right now all week long, telling you what to keep an eye on for.
Please keep following us. Stay with us. Thanks so much for watching. For Thad Brown, I am Alexa Ross. We will see you right back here next time.